kójókójó là ń béwé kúkú dùkú lóko. Podium International wọ́n ti wà tipẹ́tipẹ́ látìgbà tí wọ́n ti ń bàbọ̀ wọn ò fìgbà kan tẹ́rì o. Wọ́n ti wá ṣe bẹ̀bẹ̀ wọ́n ti gbé bẹ̀bẹ̀ dé. Podium Cinema ni wọ́n tún gbé dé. Podium Cinema lórí YouTube ẹ fọ́lọ̀ wọn kẹ́ ẹ láìkì wọn kẹ́ ẹ subscribe. Ibẹ̀ lẹ́tì mọ̀ wọ àwọn àjẹ́ àbálẹ̀ fíìmù ẹ̀dọ̀kí fíìmù tó léfo gan tààrà. Podium Cinema mo bẹ́rí fún yín fíìmù mẹ́sàn-án ọ̀tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ ni wọ́n kó jáde o àwọn gbàǹkọ́gbé fíìmù èkíní májẹ̀mú ẹ̀gbọ́n èkejì my wet ẹ̀kẹta ọmọ ẹni ẹ̀kẹrin àlàmú èkó ẹ̀karùn-ún àìmọ̀ ṣẹ̀wárí pé nǹkan kì í ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ràgó ó kọjá bẹ́ẹ̀ eléyìí lẹ́tìkẹjù èdè Yorùbá ni wọ́n fi ṣe àwọn fíìmù yìí ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kẹfà sẹ́ẹ̀kẹsàn-án èdè òyìnbó ni wọ́n kọ́ ẹ̀kẹfà tẹ́mà èkeje the casting ẹ̀kẹjọ M1 the detective ẹ̀kẹsàn 100 M1 the detective at 100 orí síríìsì lẹ́fì máa wò ó ìyẹn dàgbéléwò nìyẹn Podium International Podium Cinema ẹ fọ́lọ̀ wọn kẹ́ ẹ láìkì wọn lórí YouTube wọ́n wà lórí Facebook wọ́n wà lórí Instagram Podium Cinema ó ti dọbẹ̀ ẹ subscribe.
Yeah, good evening and welcome to today's program. Sorry we are almost more than 1 hour late, but I believe we've still got interesting stories to furnish our viewers. Baba Jala, do you want to say hello to our
hello, my very, very beautiful people listening to us. I'm happy to be with you again this Sunday, but very much late. Apologies, please. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Baba Jala, we've got an interesting story tonight. The federal government of Nigeria, they never ceases to amaze us. When a lot of countries are talking about how to tackle fraud, how to tackle crime, and then the Nigerian government is now the kingpin of crime. And Buhari has got less than 24 hours, and thank God all his atrocities will come to an end very soon. A lot of ministers under Buhari have committed quite uncountable crimes against themselves, against their families. For a man who came on a ticket of Mr. Integrity, Mr. Corruption-free, for the worst corruption in Nigeria history to have gone under him in 8 years. He has this. Buhari came at a time when Nigeria's currency was
you forgot
$1.
to say something. Corruption, murder, and mayhem.
Exactly. So he crippled Nigeria in all facets. The latest and the diabolical one is less than a week for Buhari to leave. He promised the international community census. He collected money for that. He didn't deliver. He promised Nigerian Airways, Nigerian Air, which is what we will be discussing today. And they've collected over 14 trillion naira from what I gathered. And the best they can do, they cannot even buy a plane, not a plane. I mean, you could, for that amount, not doing anything, you can possibly order 5 planes, 5 aircraft, brand new. But the best they could do was to go to Ethiopia and hire 2 planes. I don't know how much they paid them. They hired 2 planes to camouflage. Is it that our Nigerian people have short memory, or we just always forgive in the name of God? What is the problem? Nigeria airline fraud.
There's so much to talk about the airline. I'll try to go back to the history. At some point in the history of that country, up to and including 1982, we had about 36 airplanes, including jumbo jets. Suddenly, they all disappeared. That's a story to be told another day. I think we need to handle that. They all disappeared. And it is born of the fact that there was not that, you see, I will keep on putting down this rider. the corporate body called Nigeria is Fraud Incorporated. That's it. It comes in various facets. Why will you sell very good planes that have no problems? And you say you are going to buy new ones, and you didn't buy any one up to today. I had an in-law who was working there, or is still alive. I have an in-law who was working there, but there's no Nigerian Airways anymore anyway. Who was a chief accountant. He was asked to come and state the case. There was a probe that he should deliver. How did the money that was got from the sale of the aircraft went? Then I told him, please don't be afraid. Don't think because perhaps you also have had a token building built from the wretchedness of that airline. Don't be afraid. Say the truth. Tell them exactly, because I know you know that the money got from those sales never came through to the Nigerian airline account. Never. Obasanjo tried to probe it when he came on. There are certain very notable men from the south and from the north. One of them, Bajawa, tried to rescue the Nigerian Airways. He was kicked out. Olu Bajawa, was living very close to me he had a house close to me in Ibadan, Okebola area. So if he's still alive, he knows I'm mentioning his name. I know what he tried to do, but he was not appreciated. Well, he also, like every other Nigerian who comes to a place where they are told that, look, you cannot change the status quo, that the status quo are for an incorporated fraudulent entity. That is the fact of Nigeria right from time. Even Lugard too did it around 1917 when he appropriated some 1.9 million, 1.7 million pounds to his own post, while he claimed that it was 70,000 pounds. You can check the records.
Was that in the income tax or?
No, it's not income tax. It was it was the money accrued from all the sales and all that came through, and then the export and import that was available for use to develop the North, because the North was bankrupt. See that?
Yeah. So
let me come now to why, because of that incorporation of that fraudulent system, right from time, it comes to a stage where people in the federal ministries, the ministries in the West escaped it because they had very powerful checks and balances in their time between 1951 and 1959. After 59, things went down the drain.
And that is why development had run away from us.
Yeah.
Hadi Sirika, the outgoing aviation minister, should he go to prison?
Well, nobody's going to go to prison. I've already told you that the place is Fraud Incorporated. That's the fact.
Why are a lot of Nigerians dying and killing themselves?
I've always been along the line. I've always been on the edge of being sucked into the system, but I always refused. Right from my growing up, right from time I left university, invited, come and be this, come and be that. I said, no, this is not the kind of life I want to live, because we are killing our people. We are not reckoning with there is no social contract between us who ought to do with the people who we are supposed to be developing, to move from the grass level of sustenance development, which is the best, is still sustenance development in Nigeria. Because You don't have what the wherewithal for development as it is in the Western world. Our agriculture is not nondescript. Only small spots of a people who have used their energy to even build up, and some who have come to
Now,
see their killed.
one thing I'm trying to understand here is, why will anybody in their right thinking mind do what Hadi Sirika had done?
Yeah, in their right thinking mind, the rest of the country is stupid. So they want to show that, oh, we promised you Nigerian air when we came in. Here it is on the at our exit. So we are giving that to the new government. Follow it up.
Yeah.
You
I
see,
mean,
the
we
place
laugh
is a
about
joke.
it,
The
but this,
international community is watching us with is it a pinch of salt or with
because
all
I hear a lot of people to
and not
say
with all that are
America is not
not
allowing us grow, India is not allowing us grow, Britain is not allowing us grow. But for me, it feels like our problem is self-inflicted.
self-inflicted.
And I hear a lot of my friends, colleagues who say they can't pay school fees, they can't eat, they can't go to work, they don't have this, they are that.
I just have that we're talking now. Somebody, a whole family, they are
Yeah,
looking for 72,000 naira to be able to operate on their mother who fell and was admitted. Luckily, the hospital gave a first emergency treatment. Now to continue the treatment, they need 72,000. And there are many people like that all over calling.
exactly.
People like
So
us and
is it
you
that
to
Nigerians are
help.
foolish and stupid and can't band themselves together to really take their destiny into their hands? Or is it that, I don't know,
You see, the problem is generally about uh, what you call a high level of mesmerism through information. I just had one pastor now praying for Nigeria and all that. Then I said, can you go to Genesis chapter 11 and see what should be of nations? Nations are made of people of a common ancestral origin. And even God puts hand into it. That's why He gave us our different languages. I'm speaking English language now, which is not my language, because we want the rest of the world to know what we are talking about. And when they know, and then we're able to get our new nation back, then I will now revert back to, and then my leader will go to United Nations and speak his language, and he will be accountable for everything that is wrong with our people, right from the grassroots, right from the unborn child, right from the unborn child. I've said this over and over. The preparation to welcoming new souls into the world should be it should be a sort of an energy of worship for the future. And here you now find people deceiving the whole populace, and some of them don't even know. Perhaps if those two planes came, a lot of Nigerians will now be, well, I don't know if there's Nigerians. A lot of the people traveling to Nigeria, because there are no Nigerians anyway. Because if there are Nigerians, there'll be a language called Nigerian. There's none. So
exactly.
the people traveling to Nigeria will now be saying, oh, yes, Buhari did it. Buhari Loleshe, he gave us 2 planes before he left. He fulfilled his promise. You see, they will not think.
The problem is they didn't even try to do a local airline to say fly from Kaduna to Kano or Lagos to Asaba or this to that. They wanted to go all out international, and then they brought this international embarrassment. I'm sure the people in Ethiopian airline would just be laughing and say, what foolish people are these Nigerians?
And they've got their money.
Exactly. They've got their money. Maybe they booked that plane for maybe I mean, if the plane is not flying and it's earning what it's supposed to earn in a year, why not? If you just need it to showcase your stupidity to your stupid citizens who cannot, in their stupid mind, decipher a stupid act. I don't know. It's just beholding to say, although not everybody is falling falling a fool for it, because we are aware, courtesy of a lot of other journalists who have spotted the lies and brought it to the attention of the world. But that's not. These are the things that are very obvious, and they are very in very high magnitude. From the last, I don't want to say administration. I know we're going into another administration, but from the Goodluck administration, we started seeing a trend where when ministers are called upon to face justice or a panel, they either pretend that they're sick, they're falling ill. During the Goodluck time, we saw is this snake eating money? We saw, and at some point, a lot of people were going to First Bank to withdraw their money because they were scared that if snake could eat a lot of government money, the big elephants in First Bank, and these things, we look at it as childish, but the result is over 130 million of our people now live below poverty because there are no industries to generate revenue for them. A lot of our people, a lot of poverty is in the land.
Million, it's more than that.
Yeah, it's more than that. It's growing every day. The last statistics we had was in March. So by now it's probably 150 million. And then we say there is no future for this country. And we've just witnessed millions of people turn out to go and vote stupidly, foolishly. And tomorrow, Nigeria is going to get another president who himself doesn't even believe in the country.
If I may come in there, millions out of the percentage of those who came out to vote was 27% of the 90 million that registered to vote.
Okay.
What it indicates is that the rest 73 percent.
Yeah, 63.
63% of the people reject the election.
But if they reject it, can they not mobilize to come out and say no?
Because they are not going to be given the voice, except those of us here and the few people who are broadcasting are trying to alert the world about the fraudulent nature of that country. So it means this man is not a popular choice of the people of Nigeria. Just a minuscule percentage of the people says, and then the percentage is even divided among the other three parties. So how many persons really voted? Is it 10 million or 12 million voted for him to be president?
I think it's less than 9 million.
So you see, we are in a stage where we have to knock ourselves down to reality that the country itself rejects itself.
So less than 5% of the population voted for the incoming president.
So we have to bring out this facts for the world to know. Instead of a lot of people say, he won the election, popular choice. Which popular choice? Is that really
less than 5
choice?
million? Because if Nigeria is over 200 million population and less than 10 million voted, it's even still less than 5% of the population.
Exactly.
So
where are we going? We see this is where I have always advocated we need to call the regional referendum to decide the position of each nationality in that entity.
What do you think the incoming president should do with the dysfunctional state of Nigeria? Should he have 1 month to look at what Nigeria is really composed of and say, listen, this is not going to work? Or should he just say, Hang on, Nigeria is what it is today. Let me complete my term and you can decide what you want.
Well, you see, Ahmed Bola Tinubu is a friend. I know him very well before he rose astronomically to become one of the richest men in the world, if you don't know. He's now currently one of the richest men in the world. Well, I'm here to see the factories he set up to employ, and then the goods he has manufactured to sell. Or is it a social contract to appropriate the wealth of a state, of the people, to a particular person? I don't envy him. He has done it effectively. But people are dancing around him. He's a friend. He knows me. I've always visited him and Paradise when you're late in number 100 Cavendish Street, London here. Even with my children. Stay hours. Talk about the future of the Yoruba race. You see? So I cannot predict what is in his mind.
That's
At some point, he said he does not believe in Nigeria. That was published some many years ago in the 90s. Now, immediately he was
vying for
sort
president.
of appropriated into becoming the governor of Lagos State, while asking late Funshaw Williams to step down. He had the vision of becoming president. That woman is vice governor.
The Bucknor.
Acknowledge that fact that this man, where is he going? First of all, he's saying he wants to be vice president of Nigeria under maybe Obasanjo or some other persons, removing articles. You know, he's been systematically repositioning himself, remanufacturing himself to get into where he is. He was always saying, whatever it takes, I will give it to, which is monetary anyway. And unfortunately, most people trapped into Nigeria, I won't say most Nigerians, are looking for survival. You see, poverty is exploited by the bourgeoisie in every nation of the world or on every territory. In any case, Nigeria is not a nation. So that's one thing. And sometimes when I listen to people of class, PhD, erudites, personalities giving speeches and saying this nation, Nigeria, is just a please, nation. Did our forefathers have a meeting with any person to form a country in the first place? Not even talk about a nation. What is the meaning of a nation? Or are we just using the word nation flippantly to describe a geographical boundary? Okay, will you now call Asia, that contains several countries, a nation? Or even Europe, good, the meaning of Europe means a good place to live in. I'll say that. Even Europe as it is, at the time you had the Austro-Hungarian Empire, it still dissolved because it contained different nations and it's against God's law. Genesis chapter 11, you Bible carrying pastors, go and read it. All the prayers you are praying for Nigeria is against God's law. You should pray for the people of Nigeria to open their eyes, to know who they are, to find out if they can accommodate other people who are with them, and if they cannot, let them go their separate ways. It is not a fight. It is truism of nature and life. Except if you are ready to be watching people murdered and killed day and night, the solution has not been. Look at Deborah, a typical example, was murdered and burnt. No case. The Air Force young
To,
lady was
Tolu,
murdered.
Tolu Arotile.
Arotile was murdered.
I'll read that Genesis 11.
Yeah.
It's not a Bible program, but I'll just read it because you've made it said, and the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. And it came to pass as they journeyed from the east that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said one to another, go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone. And they said, let us build us a city, a tower whose top may reach unto heaven. And let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower, which the children of men builded. And the Lord said, behold, this people is one, and they have all one language. And this they begin to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. Go to, let us go down and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of the earth. So somebody may argue that the whole earth was one language before. Now we don't have one more language. Are we moving towards a unified earth where because I hear a lot of people say
not finished reading that. When God scattered them, He gave each one of them a land where they could prosper.
Yeah, they scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city. Therefore, is the name of the Lord called Babel, because of this place.
Yeah.
There confound the language of all the earth. From thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they were now scattered all over the earth, not congregating in one place as they used to do.
And not forming a people who are again challenging the authority of God. Because that's what Nigeria is trying to do. Challenging the authority of God, trying to make a Yoruba
but Nigeria, we could say Nigeria is a religious country. It's
that's not a religion, because Nigeria's religion has become a trade. That's the fact. Religion
so
is
it's not a religion. It's not a belief. It's just a means
to an end. Just like I said, it is fraud incorporated in every facet of our activity. There are pockets of people who have the truism that are praying that our people should open their eyes and see the truth. Not that we hate each other. Let everybody, like God scattered us in different lands and gave us our own piece of land, just like the Yoruba people have their own piece of land, their side and all that. So we could be friends. I said it many years back, that separation for cooperation. We cannot be under the same umbrella and expect us to develop. Look at Dr. Adesina when he was giving his speech. It was when you analyze his speech, it's just much of semantic blank. It does not give answers to what is on the ground in terms of development planning.
Before we go today, I'm just going to ask one last question. Yoruba nation, Biafra nation, they want to leave Nigeria. What should the new president do?
It is not Yoruba nation or Biafra nation. The Middle Belt too want to go. Even hold on, let me finish. The Arewa,
the Hausa nation.
Yeah, the Arewa Islamic Republic is already in the pipeline. We are ignoring it to our peril. They will get theirs before we gather our acts together and stop the bickering and the unnecessary lies and the unnecessary untold truth about who is fighting for the Yoruba nation. It's a lot of untold truths. And you find people like the incident that happened in Ibadan. Some people are trying to position themselves to dislodge whatever the people who are actually calling for a sovereign Yoruba nation will achieve. We are not going to achieve it by fighting. We are not going to achieve it by lying. We are going to achieve it by the unity of purpose of our people. After all, you remember Joe Igboho. He did not go out to fight the federal government. He went out to campaign, to talk to the minds and souls of our people. Is that an offense? It is not. They do not carry any gun. They do not carry any weapon. And yet you are persecuting the peaceful people who are expressing the fact of the treason, even which your people in the north have already be beating the drums since 1804. Since 1804, they want to, if they cannot take over the lands of the infidels in the south, that is us, they would form their own Islamic
nation.
So why? You see, it's compounding for the president who's going to take over from the melee of the incongruity that exists amongst us. How is it? It is not tokenism to say, okay, I put one Christian person to manage the ministry. I put one Muslim person to manage that. It's not going to work. Because who are the civil servants running the so-called ministries? They are predominantly from the north. That's a fact. My in-law trained all his superiors, whereas he was supposed to be the superior. He trained them. Yeah, and that's why NITEL is almost dead. That's why our telecommunication in Nigeria is nondescript. Every time you find that, no signal, not that. The very powerful center that was built in Lanlate had been removed, and I understand it was moved to Kaduna. And what wretchedness is it there? What even if they have moved it to Abuja, well, maybe they will say because of the hills, the ASO hills in Abuja might interfere with the traffic. But there are still locations around there. But why Kaduna?
It's crazy.
You see, a lot of our people don't know what I'm talking about. Because myself, I usually use Google Earth Professional to track down many locations in Nigeria to see what is happening. Then one day I was trying to look at Lanlate. It was empty. Then I called some of my friends. What has happened? They've cleared the place and moved it to Kaduna. A massive investment, a massive telecom, and even the telecom tower in Lagos also, it's not working. Even when it started working, before 2 or 3 years, it was burnt. You remember, in the 70s, the telecom tower got burnt.
Yeah, ITT.
ITT. No, not ITT. This is NITEL. ITT is Abiola's Abiola's organization.
Abiola's in the 90s.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. There's nothing we cannot.
In trouble. We should inform.
There's nothing we cannot see.
Somebody was saying that Buhari had made professors to come to his level of stupidity. That's why they. But what I have always said is that country.
I mean, if somebody is just got a school certificate, is being asked to rule a powerful nation like Nigeria.
Is this school certificate? He was supposed to have got a Cambridge school certificate in 1961 up to and including 1965. Cambridge school certificate was being issued in West Africa. It was 1966 that it was changed to West African school certificate, and then the Nigerian this WAEC office, they had branches. The headquarters was Accra. So even some professors did not even still understand this, and a paper was presented that this is from the Katsina State Ministry of Education, WAEC certificate of Buhari. Well, 1961, was there a Katsina state?
No,
You
there
see,
was no.
and these are professors trying to defend the indefensible. My
Well,
friend,
I think it's just because Buhari was president. They try to please him, and that's the problem of our society.
that
They
was
try to
even
please
before he
rather than
became.
do the right thing.
That was even that was during the campaign before he became president. I said, "This
Yeah,
is the time to expose this." Why you? I was on a television
I
program.
know a lot of people will be sitting down to defend Bola Tinubu,
Yeah.
but that's the much we can take for
Yeah.
today.
Well,
Hopefully,
I wish him luck. I wish him that he has the eureka moment to see that that country has fully
I
separated,
think this is
has
the
to
best.
change.
I think only time will judge Tinubu
Yeah.
on whether he's going to be a president that's going to do the right thing to dissolve Nigeria, or whether he's going to be the president that will continue in the failures of Nigeria. Only time will tell. But I believe those of us campaigning and advocating for Yoruba Nation will be vindicated in the end, that we were the people who stood on the right path of development for our people.
In West Africa, not
Exactly.
only for the Yoruba people, for the Igbos, for the Fulanis, and
No,
everybody. Let everybody go and form their country.
exactly, and even for the wider African communities
Yes,
as well.
because we will analyze that part later in another program.
No
Because we
problem.
cannot, at this stage in the life of the Africans, continue to live in wretchedness and
No,
blame other people, blame Britain, blame
we have
America, blame this, blame everywhere.
exactly. No,
When
we
there
are
is,
always quick to blame others rather than look inwards and say we
see
are the
our problem.
problem. Thank you
Thank
very
you
much
very
for
much.
watching,
Thank
and
you.
hopefully we shall be back again next week with
lọ́jọ́kọ́jọ́